Peloton gave a teaser of their brand new rower during their homecoming event last May. While it's questionable whether or not we will see the Peloton Rower anytime soon, and it's not looking great given that Peloton recently removed all mentions of the Peloton Rower from their social media accounts, I think there are a lot of us still eagerly awaiting to hear more about when it might be released and how it will compare to other popular connected fitness rowers that are currently available. So today I wanted to put together a list of 10 things I do and don't want to see with the release of the Peloton Rower. Let's start off with number 1, upright storage. One of the best parts about having a rower at home is how little space they take up when stored upright. And while most rowers will fold up in some fashion, I like it most when they can sit straight upright, since it takes the least amount of room. The Ergata rower so far is my favorite when it comes to storage because it doesn't require any additional straps or chains like, for example, the Hydro does to keep it into place. And so I hope that Peloton is designing their rower in a similar way so that you can store it upright. Number 2, screen placement. When it comes to rowers, screen placement is very important and not something that every single company gets right. Place the screen too close and it doesn't feel great when you lean towards it. If you place it too high, it encourages bad neck positioning as you return to the catch. And Peloton is usually pretty spot on when it comes to design, so hopefully that means we can expect a well thought out screen placement, if not an adjustable one. Number 3, smart magnetic resistance. Rowers tend to fall into one of 3 resistance types: water, air, or magnetic, and some actually sort of have a hybrid of 2. The quietest though is magnetic, which is what I would expect to be used by Peloton, but it has to be smart magnetic resistance, meaning you can't create resistance in the same way that you would a bike with a magnetic flywheel. That's not going to work well on a rower because you don't want the resistance to be consistent. You actually want the resistance to increase based on how hard you are pulling. And to pull that off with magnetic resistance, there needs to be some tricky tech involved. As with a fan or water, those actually do this naturally. Now the rower that pulls the magnetic resistance off the best is Hydro, and so hopefully Peloton can match their smart resistance. Number 4, no automatic resistance or adjustments. Look, I'm a fan of auto-adjusting resistance when it comes to the bike, but going back to how resistance works differently on a rower, it is not something I would really like to see here. When rowing, you actually don't want the resistance to really ever change during your workouts. I mean, sometimes you might adjust what is typically referred to as the drag to change how the resistance feels between workouts, but the resistance itself should really be self-generated by how hard and quickly you pull. And while I have seen a few cases where automatic resistance changes can work, I am generally much more a fan of a traditional rowing workout in which it doesn't. Number 5, volume controls. Now, a lot of people think that there are some controls on the Peloton Rower handle itself. And while many assume that this is to adjust resistance, which again, I hope not, what I would like to see is the ability to control the volume here. See, touching the screen is a lot harder to pull off while rowing compared to biking or even running, since you're using your hands to hold onto a handle. And so having the ability to quickly adjust the volume right from the handle itself would be a really nice bonus. Number 6, new instructors. I know, we all want to see our favorite instructors teach rowing classes, and I'll admit, I was excited to see one of my favorites, Adrian, be the one to sort of show off the Peloton Rower in the teaser. That said, even in that teaser, Adrian's form wasn't that great, and I hope instead of having to rely on current instructors, that Peloton instead brings in a bunch of new instructors that have a significant background in rowing, because there's just a lot of technique to learn when compared to biking, and so it would be great to have coaches that really knew what they were doing and whom you knew had really solid form. Number 7, form drill focus. So sort of going along with that, I hope that Peloton goes a bit more into the technique side of rowing. There again is just so much to cover, and even those who have years of experience, it's very helpful to have technique drills during your warm-ups and your cool downs. And while Peloton does a little bit with running, it's really not as much as they could. And so I hope they double down even more on technique so that members can get the instruction they need to have the best technique possible. Number 8, rowing boot camps. Okay, so something that I am sure Peloton will have, but I want nonetheless, are rowing boot camps. Bike boot camps are great, but not really as good as tread boot camps, which I feel are a more natural fit. But rowing boot camps would even be better and provide a hell of a whole body workout. And I think they would be a huge hit, and one more reason for people to choose a Peloton rower over others, which surprisingly haven't yet offered much in this category. Number 9, rotating touchscreen. Alongside boot camps, it would be great to have a rotating touchscreen to make taking these bootcamp classes a lot easier. Right now, very few rowers actually have a fully rotating screen. Hydro's rotates a tiny bit, but Nordic Trek is really the only one that I've used that has a full rotation that makes it easy to take workouts off of the rower. And so hopefully Peloton can pull this off as well. Number 10, power zone training. It's no secret that my favorite part about Peloton, by a mile, is their power zone training. And it's honestly a travesty in my mind that they haven't found a way to implement it on the tread yet, but they should definitely have this on the rower on day 1. There are other power zone training programs for rowers, so it absolutely is a possible, if not easy addition, and the benefits would be huge. And one of my biggest issues with most connected fitness rowers right now is that they don't have power zone training, and it would be a huge win for Peloton to have this. In fact, I even made a video dedicated to all of the reasons why I love Peloton's power zone training, so you should definitely check that out here. This is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts. Appreciate you being here as always, and I'll see you next time.